to the weekly briefing on today, the 9th of August. Quite a few updates and some real positive things to talk about. So a couple of things quickly from me, just a regular update about COVID numbers. So the numbers of new infections in the local community have been reducing over the last 3 weeks. Harlow is now down at just over 100 new infections per 100,000 members of the population, which is good news. And we've seen a steady decline in the number of confirmed COVID positive inpatients within the hospital. So as of this morning, we had 38, most of whom weren't receiving direct care as a result of COVID. It was incidental, really positive. And as a result, hopefully everyone's aware that we changed, thanks to long conversations from a specialist IPC team, changed the rules around wearing of face masks for in non-clinical areas last week. So no need to continue to wear a face mask in a non-clinical area, but obviously COVID hasn't gone away. Obviously still has significant impact on people who catch it. So so please maintain vigilance, hand space ventilation, and please continue to undertake lateral flow tests twice a week if you are in a patient-facing role. Whilst it's nice to see the increase in the temperatures, we are expecting further significant increase in temperatures over the next coming days, and Sharon will talk a little bit more about plans in place for that. I also just wanted to raise a couple of positive things around our trust board. So as hopefully people are aware, our trust board meets in public every second month. We met last Thursday, and one of the key decisions that the board took and approved was to completely rebuild our aseptic unit. So lots and lots of work over many months in terms of developing a real high quality business case to repurpose our aseptic unit. Agreed to invest around about £2.5 million in the new unit, which will go into Arundel House at the back of the site. So those of you who've been down the site will have seen that that work and construction work has just started on that, which is fantastic. Should be due to complete early 2023 and make a really significant difference in terms of our provision to support our chemotherapy patients and obviously our cancer patients generally. So really big item, really big issue that we've had for a period of time. I just want to say a massive thanks to the pharmacy team, estates team, and CSS team for all the work that's gone into developing a case. And then finally, from me, I just want to extend a massively warm welcome to all of our new doctors in training. It's fantastic to see, I think about 60 plus, 65 or so of our new recruits at the new employee engagement forum last week. Some really great conversations, and I'm sure everyone else will welcome them warmly into the organisation. Thank you, and with that, I'll hand over to Sharon.
Thanks very much, Lance. Just a few things from me. So the first thing, just following on from Lance about welcoming some of our new starters. So last Monday I had the absolute pleasure of having supper in the Training and Development Centre with the new international nurses that had arrived. So 15 have arrived to join our teams. It was delightful to meet them all, and actually a huge amount of wealth of experience that they bring to our organisation. Just out of interest, we have had 64 international nurses join us so far this year. That's amazing to join our teams, and we're very, very grateful for them to choose PHT to come and work here. And we've got another 57 also in the pipeline who will be coming to join us. The vacancy rate for nursing midwifery is around 7%, and that's after we had over a £2 million investment in our establishments again over December and January from the board. So we're absolutely moving forward, absolutely driving the sense of team and stability across our workforce. So thank you to everyone for joining us, and thank you to everybody that will be welcoming those new starters and helping them as part of their preceptorship and transition into the NHS. Thank you. Another thing for me is around, you'd have seen the comms come out for this last week. There is the National Audit of Care of End of Life that is out and about. There is a survey that anyone can go into as a healthcare professional and complete. The link has been sent out and it's open until the 7th of October. I just want to reflect on the importance of that in terms of end of life care. And I absolutely recognise this might be difficult for some of our colleagues as well who've had very difficult couple of years. So end of life care is an absolutely key strand that we deliver in this organisation as healthcare professionals. The care that we can give to individuals at the end of their life makes a significant impact on them, but also on the memories and the grief process of those people that are there at end of life. So it's really important that wherever possible, people are able to input into surveys, because the National Audit of End of Life Care will pick up some of those things around end of life and really drive forward some of the national recommendations and national way forward, and we can influence that. So if you feel able to participate in that survey, I would absolutely encourage you to do that. And as I say, the link is out, and thank you, Jane, for putting it onto the QR code onto the chat as well. So please do that. Just picking up in terms of Lance, so we are expecting a heat wave. I know it's hot today, isn't it? It's going to be hotter again as from tomorrow up until Sunday. Last time round, when we had that significant heat wave, we were reflecting on uniforms, and the heat wave came quite quickly. So we have had opportunity to give it some more thought over the last couple of weeks. So for those people who are working in uniform, we will have scrubs available again, which we did last time, so you are able to transfer into scrubs over the heat wave. The other question that came up last time was about the use of shorts across the organisation. It's not part of our uniform policy, so we've had to give this some thought in terms of what the right thing to do would be. It's completely and utterly right that we maintain health and safety for anybody that works in this organisation, and they are comfortable enough to be able to work. So there will be a comms going out later today, which says once the temperature hits 30 degrees plus, which it's going to do tomorrow, we will enable our uniformed and non-uniformed staff to go into shorts should they wish to do so. For those people who are in uniform, there'll be some criteria around that. Clearly, we have a professional image to maintain, and that's really important for public confidence. So the shorts, if you're in uniform, will need to be either black or navy blue. They'll need to be no more than 3 inches above your knee, and they'll need to be tailored and clearly not of tight-fitting material. So when it's plus 30 degrees, like tomorrow up until Monday, you'll be allowed to do that. For those people who are not in uniform, shorts is also permitted, so black, blue or beige, please, against the same criteria that will come out in the comms. And we will review that again on Monday once the weather forecast is a bit more clearer for next week. Just a plea as well around uniform in hot weather. So the uniform policy is quite clear around the need for a professional image and professional attire for both uniformed and non-uniformed staff, please. So please make sure that you and your colleagues are appropriately dressed to maintain the professional image of our organisation and the NHS over the next few days whilst it gets hot. Okay, and also I know that we'll send things out. So in hot weather, don't forget, please do close the windows because the ambient temperature outside is warmer than inside. And please also make sure you're well hydrated. So it is completely right that those people who are not able to get away from their workplace, so those people working in clinical areas, or if you're tied to desk, please do make sure you're well hydrated. Please do drink on duty. Please do have drinks at the nurse's station. Hydration is really, really important over this period. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And I'm going to hand over to Phil. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Afternoon, everyone. Phil Holland, Chief Information Officer. 2 things for me today. Just a quick update around Nerve Centre ED. So we're 2 weeks in following our go live a couple of weeks ago. So I just wanted to thank everyone that has been involved in that. This isn't about just the ED team, it's a whole hospital effort. So around our clinical support services, all of our inpatient wards and outpatient facilities that need access to that information, our site team, our quality first team, the IT and information team. So it's been a huge effort to help it go as smooth as it has done. There are some issues still, as we'd expect that, in terms of some of our processes, but we're working through those. But I just wanted to thank everyone throughout the organisation for all the hard work they've done to make that a real success. It is going to have a huge impact on the quality of care we can provide our patients and those that are often in need in an emergency situation. So thank you all for that. Secondly, some good news around our electronic health record procurement process. So most of you will know that we've been going through this business case procurement process, and I'm now delighted to be able to announce that we have identified a preferred supplier, and that being Cerner. So that is really, really good news for us, and we're now working with Cerner in terms of developing the contract with them. We do need now have to complete another business case to ensure we get the funding, because we are getting quite a bit of funding from the Department of Health and from the central team. So there's a process to go through. With that, we expect to be able to sign a contract in the new year, and there'll be some formal announcements after that. We are working really hard to work on that to get that done as quickly as possible, so we can start the deployment activities. And the likely implementation date will be in 2024, but we're trying to bring that as early as possible in that year as we can. I probably don't want to be too more specific at the moment, because we are still working on that with Cerner and with some of the national teams. We've had loads of really good engagement, and I've been really delighted with the amount of people that have been involved. It now really starts to get more and more real now. So for anyone that hasn't been interested so far or involved so far, please let the team know. I suspect one of the team can probably pop the email address in the chat. So if someone's on, they can do that. If not, I can do that. But really keen to get that engagement, and it is going to be a really, really fantastic, exciting ride over the next couple of years. But any questions, please feel free to ask me. That's it for me, other than don't forget your IG training. Obviously, really, really important, and it will be remiss of me if I didn't say that. Michael, I think you're up next, I believe.
Thanks, Phil. Good afternoon, everybody. Just to give you some reassurance about the weather, really hot weather I know this week, but I'm going camping next week, so it's pretty guaranteed that it will stop on about Sunday and start raining from about Monday through till Friday. So just to give you some reassurance that the bad weather is bound to come in as I go camping. So I wanted to give you a quick update on the new hospital. I'm going to show you something in the background while I talk. So you may have seen that we had the BBC on site last week, on Wednesday last week. We did a long interview with them. The piece went out on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and again on Thursday in London. We continue to make the case for our brand new hospital. We are getting a lot of support from the national team. You can see an artist's impression, our architect's impression of what the new hospital might look like, just to see the size and the scale of what we're talking about to develop our brand new hospital. We shared some of the amazing work that you guys have been doing and some of the pressures that you face every single day. And I think the BBC did a pretty good job of recognising that we absolutely do need a new hospital. I continue to work with the national team, me and my team continue to work with the national team to ensure that we will get funding for the hospital. And just to reassure you all that we are still one of the front runners to be funded. We're working really closely with the national team, and we're expecting an announcement around about Christmas time, waiting for dust to settle with the appointment of a new Secretary of State for Health when that final appointment is made. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everybody that was involved with the visit. We went down into paediatric ED with John. We went into ED with Polly and her team. So thank you for putting up with us in there. We then went up onto the wards with Joe and the teams up on the wards. So thank you to everybody that supported us with that. We then went down into the basement to show them the difficulties that we face in the internals of the building. So as I said, a really good visit, really positively received, and really strong support, both from the BBC, all of our internal teams, and the new hospital programme. So thank you everybody for being involved, and let's keep our fingers crossed that we will get our new hospital being funded in the next couple of months. Handing back to you, Lance.
Thanks very much, Michael, and thanks for sharing the latest fly through. And thank you for everyone who's put comments in the chat box. So just coming down from those, Cherise asked about the outside seating. Michael, I know you've put a comment in the chat box. Can you just talk through some of the work that estates teams are doing to look at the whole site?
Yes, so I've commissioned a piece of work to look at the whole of the public ground. That's all of the external spaces in the hospital, to look at how we can improve all of that over a period of time to make it as accessible as we possibly can, but also so we've got some high quality rest spaces outside. It is a big piece of work, and we need to align it with all of the other building works that are happening across the site. But I will pick up with Sherry, I will pick up your request to try and get some seating out there relatively quickly so we can get it in there for this summer while the bigger piece of work is planned.
Thanks very much, Michael, and thanks, Sheree, for raising it. There's a couple of comments, particularly from Gail and Monica, in terms of great news around the decision to approve the aseptic unit business case, and thanks to all of the individual teams who've been involved in that. Hannah, thank you for reminding everybody of the video diary that I do, and asking anybody if they wish to, if you wish to showcase your department or your teams, some of the amazing work that happens, then please let the communications team know, and we'll be in touch to come and visit and have a chat to you and pull together a video diary as well. Lots of really positive comments on the back of what Sharon was saying about some really fantastic ongoing recruitment into nursing roles and non-nursing roles as well, actually, from Steph and Getch, welcoming all of our new colleagues and starting to see the positive impact that reduction in our vacancy rates is having. And thank you to obviously all of the local managers for all your hard work, but actually all of the colleagues from the people team who work really hard in the background as well to ensure our recruitment processes are strong and effective, and also colleagues who, nursing colleagues who are supporting our new international recruits. So a big thank you to everybody. As Sharon said, Jane has put the link, the QR code link to the NASAL survey in the chat box. So please take a copy of this and complete the survey and let your colleagues know about it as well. A couple of queries about where we can colleagues can access scrubs from. So Sharon or Paco, you're able to respond in terms of where some will be able to get some delivered to clinical areas, but where colleagues were able to access the additional scrubs over the next few days when the weather gets a bit warmer.
Yes, I've already got it in hand, Lance, so contact our facilities team to put requests out. So in the short term, if you could send them out to Sarah Stapleton, and she'll make sure that the team actually actions it. But we've got that one in hand. Okay.
Thanks, Paco. So queries into Sarah, and Sarah will help support distribution and ensure we've got sufficient numbers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Stuart, for re-emphasising all the work that's happening on our green plan and our sustainability plans, and the conversations that have happened over the last couple of weeks. It's really important for us going forward. It's important for the NHS generally, but really important that we do our bit to ensure really high quality sustainability in the short term before we can get the benefits of a new hospital and a new site. So if you're interested, if you've got ideas, then please link in with Abraham, and his email address Stuart has put into the chat box as well. A couple of positive comments, including thanks Sheila in terms of the positivity about moving to Cerner. It really is fantastic news. A proper electronic health record will really make a big difference for everybody, and really importantly for our patients and our patient safety. Lots of comments about the fly through being fantastic, or looking fantastic, and fingers crossed about positive news around new hospital. Thank you everybody, and Billy obviously didn't have to mention IG training this time because Phil mentioned it, but thanks for responding to that as well. Really important that everybody stays up to date with IG training as well as all of the rest of statutory mandatory training, please. Laura also thanking the porters for the roles that they played and support that they had to support our BBC News article around the new hostel, which if you haven't seen it, was a really positive article, and a lot of time and energy and effort went into working with BBC colleagues. So thank you to everybody involved. Paco saying that we should get the aseptic unit completed just before the end of this year as opposed to early next year, which is fantastic news. And Sarah just confirming the linen room will be stocking up on scrubs for everybody. Thank you, Sarah. And the ice lolly freezer, of course, in the restaurant. Fantastic. Yeah, well, thank you. Paco asking for smokers on site to show caution when walking around the site because the grounds are very dry. We shouldn't actually have any smokers on site. So if you are a smoker, both in terms of making sure the site is smoke free, but obviously also in terms of preventing or reducing any risk of fire, please ensure that you are not smoking on the site. Are there any other queries, questions that anybody would like to raise, or any comments? Nothing. I'll just reiterate Sharon's point about everyone remaining really hydrated, particularly over the next few days. Please don't be shy about having a bottle of water with you in all areas to ensure that you can remain hydrated. Anything else anybody would like to say or raise? Just put your hand up or put something to the chat box.
Lance, just one thing from me. Sorry, can we make a plea that anyone who isn't using their car parking fob for the linkway, that they return those as soon as possible? We've got a real shortage, so please can you make sure we have all of your car parking fobs returned? I can see some nods of people who are desperate to get their hands on one. So please, if you're not using it, make sure you return it. That'd be great. Thank you. To the security desk.
Thanks very much, Michael. Nothing else from anyone? Blimey. Okay, if there is nothing else, then as ever, thank you very much everybody for dialing in. Thank you, Christian, as well, for mentioning how great the current hospital grounds are looking. How will you know if there's returned fobs to go out, Charlotte? Thank you. We will let people know in the communication. So once we have more fobs, we will obviously let colleagues and people team know when you're speaking to our new recruits. But we'll also send an email out so that colleagues who are waiting for a fob can access it from security desk. Thank you as ever for dialing in. Please, as ever, can you take responsibility for taking the key messages away from here, having conversations with your colleagues and with your teams, and feeding it through your regular team meetings. And as ever, this has been recorded and will be posted up onto our YouTube channel tomorrow. So opportunity for you to review it if you wish, and or for colleagues to have a look then. But otherwise, thank you very much for dialing in and have a lovely afternoon. Thank you all.
Thank you.